Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Moletrap here, coming at you with another StarCraft game from the MSL Top 100, and this is MSL 100 number 82. Got a nice little game here between Nalra and Canata. Canata, of course, is going to be our blue Terran player here on the left side of the map, and Nalra is going to be our Protoss player at the bottom, which looks like he's red. There he is. And before I get too far into this, I want to, I guess, potentially apologize ahead of time. I'm kind of feeling a little bit off today. I'm feeling like sort of sick. I'm not actually sick. I got my flu shot yesterday. And most people, I guess, when they get their flu shot, they just feel fine. But I seem to have more of a reaction to it. So I'm feeling kind of like I have a mild cold today, basically. It's been a little bit crummy. But anyway, but I still wanted to get a game out here. Because it's been a couple days, and I've kind of settled into an almost accidental pattern of I have my live streams on Wednesday and Saturday, and then it like kind of feels like too long in between those. So I try and put a game out in between each of those. So I usually end up putting videos up on Monday and Friday, I guess. So that's 4 StarCrafts a week though, so it's kind of a lot, I guess, in a way. Not like the old days when I would cast like 20 games in a week when there was a pro league match or something like that. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about that. I am I'm not sure if I can keep, I might end up just doing like 1 video a week, but I don't know if you guys are watching the VODs of the live stream, so if that counts, quote unquote, for, you know, the content. I just want to make sure I'm keeping it output at a decent pace. Anyway, enough about that though, because we are going to be getting into this game right here. This is on Reverse Temple. I'm going to pop it up on the screen here for you real quick, so in case you're not familiar with Lost Temple, it's Lost Temple. I'm sorry, Reverse Temple. It's Lost Temple in reverse. You have the low ground mains going up to high ground naturals instead of on Lost Temple. There is high ground mains going to low ground naturals, and there's still the islands on the corners there of the map, some inner expansions as well. So it's very similar, but it's just reversed in the elevation level, I guess. So that's what we're going to be playing on today here. And this game is actually, it's interesting. This is from 2006, December 28th of 2006. So we got a nice little Christmas New Year's holiday game here. Maybe I should have saved this for the holidays, but anyway, this is a very late game in comparison to the other MSL Top 100 games. Usually they're like from the far distant past of 2004, 2005, and this is almost 2007, so this is later in the game. And that's interesting because this is like a couple years past when Nalra was the best Protoss, you know. And so Canata is he's a very good player. He was never someone that got to the, you know, Star League finals or semifinals. I could be wrong about that. Maybe he got to a semifinals once or something like that. But I think this might be a moment in their careers where Canata has a little bit of an edge, just because he's kind of a solid up and comer at this point in time, and Nalra is kind of a little bit on the way out in, you know, at the end of 2006, 2007. He's definitely a force to be reckoned with though, so we'll see if he can wreck Canata to make him reckon him. I don't know what's going with that. Anyway, very normal stuff here going on. Both players being a little bit not aggressive, but defensive, maybe a word for it. They're building their attack stuff earlier on. You know, not trying to expand quickly because it is a little bit more difficult to hold reverse ramp maps where you have the high ground expansions. It's harder to hold. If you try and expand too quickly and the other player is aggressive, you can get stuck and shut down on. They can hold the top of your ramp, especially Terrans, actually, of course. Terrans are good at holding ground, right? So not too surprised to see this going on. We do have a little bit of an FD push here coming out here from Canata, pushing out with several Marines and a tank. He's probably going to follow up with Vultures as well. It might be Vulture Speed, actually, or Mines that is being upgraded behind this. We'll have to see what upgrade he ends up employing. Yeah, there's the Mines right now. Oh, that's interesting. He's laying the mines at his own ramp to block the counterattack. And what is he doing? Because he lifted his barracks and floated it for vision. So he's not planning on continuing the production of Marines. He's going to move into something else. He may even get an expansion off of this, actually. Maybe why we see him, you know, getting the mines at his own base. Okay, so here's that vulture following up, putting some mines there. Is he trying to bait him into the mines or something like that? This might just be that the push was there to push in close enough that he could get the vultures sort of into that natural expansion and get a containment going, basically, where it's forcing Nalra to wait until he has observers before he can push out. Although he probably does have, yeah, there he has observers already, because he went one gate into, I think he might have gotten a second gateway first, but his robo was very soon. Very quick robotics facility. So, and he's actually going to bypass that mine. He walks by it with all of his dragoons. Is he lucky or unlucky for missing that? He missed it with the observer to kill it, but he also missed it and didn't like run into it. So he's actually going to move across the map here with this group of dragoons, and he's just completely bypassed these mines. There's another mine, and he's actually basically taken a route through the middle of the map. Canata has laid mines in the likely quickest path for these dragoons to get to his base, but he hasn't taken the quickest path, so he's completely avoided the mines altogether. And now Kanata's in a little bit of trouble here as Nalra is pushing into his natural expansion. All of the mines have done nothing to slow him down because only a couple of them were in places that Nalra actually had to venture through, and he had the observer overhead to deal with that as well, although he might not have even needed the observer. SCV is being pulled. He really does not want to lose control of his ramp here. He wants to try and maintain an expansion base up on the top. If he's forced to cancel, if he's so far behind, he's going to lose anyway. So here he is trying to push up the ramp with his SCVs, and it looks like he is not going to be able to take control of the top of the ramp. He does not have siege mode. Oh, and here there's 4 tanks, but he's come down the ramp. He's going to pick off one of the tanks. Very nicely sniped by those dragoons. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, you don't want to lose control of the top of your ramp in a reverse ramp map, because it's just so hard to get up back out of your base when you've gotten contained in there. So he's actually might be forced to cancel that command center. Yeah, it looks like the command center was actually canceled. He is in such deep trouble right now. He finally has siege mode, but actually that's a spot where those dragoons might, no, actually on second thought, I think that's a really good spot, because the minerals are there to the north and they're kind of far enough away from the ledge that I don't think the tanks are in too much danger of the dragoons actually shooting down at them very efficiently. And now he can use those tanks to cover the tanks going into the ramp, and now he can, you know, just keep sieging forward to try to take control of that expansion area so he can try and get a command center up. It looks like I think he's building a command center in his main. Yes, here he is. But here comes the shuttle with probably zealot bombs and maybe even reavers in it, or it's just gonna fly right over and spook him, and and then just go right over to these dragoons. I guess there was nothing inside of it. Nice little wall there of dragoons to make sure vultures can't run by. He might be worried about a vulture dropping vultures out into the, oh, and he's actually, wait, what is going on here? He lifted up dragoons and then was gonna move them somewhere, but then he just put them back on the normal ground, I guess. Is he evacuating the dragoons from the area with the oh my gosh, that's kind of funny. He's just moving them so that the dragoons don't have to walk through the tank fire, so they can get out of that area safely. He's actually just he's just airlifting the dragoons like 10 feet to the right so they can get out of the way, which is pretty funny. Anyway, and now those mines are coming back into it. As these dragoons trying to retreat home, they're encountering those same mines that he passed by earlier, because he's not going for a different route through the map. He went through the middle of the map to go to Kanata's base, and whoa, we got a Citadel and a Stargate going on, ladies and gentlemen, over here. Looks like we're probably going to see some Arbiters coming into play before too long. And that's the second Reaver load up in that shuttle as well. So there's a significant force here. And Canata knows that he needs to put some pain back down onto Nalra if he's going to stay in this game, because he's lost so much mining time in his actual expansion from having had to cancel it and having lost control of it. Here he comes in with those Reavers. He's going to try and push in. Actually, and it's going to be really difficult. There's so many tanks there. It's going to be really difficult for him to actually drop those Reavers out without losing them immediately to the tank fire. The tanks are pretty well spread apart as well, so he's not going to be able to do a great job of you know, getting the Scarabs to hit more than one of them. Canata has that expansion up and running now, It's interesting. Okay, is he? But yeah, Kanata's push here is just really strong. He's even setting up turrets. So now Canata going for the contain. Nalra countering by dropping those Reavers into the main. There's one turret there to prevent the shuttle from having free reign, but he just goes around it, drops the Reavers out, kills the turret. So now this shuttle and these Reavers can do anything they want in the main base. They could have a party. They could put up a jump house and have a little fun time. They could put up a pinata. I don't know what I'm talking about, but they can do whatever they want. They can even kill SCVs, for example, and the SCVs are nice and stacked up there. For some reason, he just lined them up. Oh, you hate to see it, and or you love to see it, depending on what your pleasure is. And he's pushing into the natural at the same time, though, so Canata is losing all of his SCVs at home, but he's got enough stuff that he's pushing down into the natural, and Nalra did not have enough ground forces with his Reavers away. He didn't have enough ground forces to hold, and so Kanata's pushing all the way into the natural here, but now the Reavers have come back. He's trying to try and mind drag with these slow zealots out here. Did he lose the Reavers? I blinked and I didn't see what happened there. Wait, why did those... I'm confused, but it's blame it on the pixels, ladies and gentlemen. I can't see what's going on because of the lack of pixels from this ancient game. But either way, I think Canata has a little bit better ability. Oh, it must have been a Dark Templar. That's what I saw coming in there. Probes coming off the line to try and draw turret fire, sorry, tank fire. So can you actually get the Reavers in there? Oh, one of the Reavers must have died before the second Reaver pops out. But it's enough. I thought there was more tanks lined up behind that, but that was the last tank. He didn't have any more coming. He was so busy worried about his main base and rebuilding there, I guess, that he wasn't making as many tanks. And well, not that he wasn't making them, but he just might not have had the money to make everything he wanted to because he'd lost so many SCVs in his main. So Canata now trying to rebuild his main, but also trying to push forward again and reestablish that contain. The turrets are still up. I take it back. The turrets haven't. Oh, okay. I was both correct and incorrect. A couple of the turrets are still up. A couple of the turrets have died. So he's going to try and reestablish that containment. The shuttle was lost crucially to that turret earlier. So Nalra does not have any maneuverability with his Reavers. Although getting that Reaver in close enough to damage those tanks was crucial to him breaking that contain, which was, of course, quickly reestablished. And this DT is coming in here. Oh, he dragged a mine into the tank with the DT. And he's going to be able to go ahead and finish off that DT, I think, but not before it takes out one tank. So nicely done. He's making Archons? Archons? I mean, Archons are super strong, but it's just kind of it's bizarre to see. Is he gonna put Archons in a shuttle and drop them on top of the tanks or something? I mean, I guess he just figures I need a ground army right now. I can't stall long enough for storms, and there's just such a scrappy battle that storms aren't actually gonna do enough damage for it to be worth it anyway. Because if you storm one or two tanks, it's not really great. The storms are much better when there's a ton of stuff and you can just get a lot of damage down. So more Reaver harassment coming here. He's actually going to fly his shuttle back into the turret fire for a second just to get vision of it so the Reavers can pick it off. And now there's DTs in here as well. So he's got siege tanks to deal with the Reaver, but the DTs are now pursuing that, and he's forced to lift his command center again. Does he not have comsat stations at all? I don't know what's going on. I think he just doesn't have comsat, does he? I don't think he doesn't have comsat. I don't think he has an academy. What is he doing? Oh, he's losing all of his SCVs 6 minutes ago. That's what he's doing, guys. So not having the money to afford getting the academy and getting comsat stations is really getting punished by these Dark Templar. And here we go. Now Nalra moving out again. He's got a fleet beacon as well. So I thought it was Arbiters because of the move towards the Templar attack, but he's actually going to get one gate carriers. Look at this. He's trying to build a turret. I don't know why he's letting that turret build. I guess he has to, because if he drops the Reaver out, the Reaver will get killed by those tanks. So that's why. So I guess I did know why. The answer was inside me all along. Anyway, Canata is really, really struggling here. He's trying to put up a wall. He knows that this counterattack is imminent. He knows he could get busted very easily by forces just barreling down his natural expansion. The tables have turned, and the good dish is now in front of Nalra, and the salt shaker that was overturned and spilled has been turned around the table to Canata's side, and he doesn't really like what he's looking at. He's finally got an academy, so he's going to start to get some comsat stations up. It looks like he's got one. There's two, but it's a bit late. He needed those a long time ago. Trying to deal with Dark Templars just by mines and trying to wait until they wandered into turret range to get seen. It's not the optimal way to deal with that. So Canata forced to be on the defensive here. And look at this, his main is actually, some of the patches in the main are getting close to mine now. Curious to see if Nalra is going to take up third base. You know, 2021, I would say definitely Protoss would take a third base. 2003, very unlikely. This is 2007. It's kind of in the middle. We'll see if he does that or not, but it looks like he is focusing mostly on just getting units in. I think he smells blood and is going to be able to go ahead in here and take out some tanks. Wow. Beautiful scarabs. The DT's polishing off the extra damage needed to kill the tanks from the scarabs. He's got this one turret in here, and it's able to get vision of the DT, so he's able to take them out with the retreating vultures coming back into the main to save the day. But he's lost, again, a couple more tanks. And he's forced to scan a couple times as well to deal with those DTs. And meanwhile, there's only one tank! He's only got one tank at the front! I don't know if Nalra realizes how skimpy that army is. He could just probably stomp in there right now. He's got 2 Stargates making carriers now, though, so he may wait for those to come out. And I almost feel like, you know, the moment the interceptors pop out, it's going to be facepalm GG for Canata. But we'll see what happens here. He does have, I mean, all these turrets that he's been putting up kind of desperately to deal with Dark Templar have made it so he's a little bit resilient for the first wave of carriers. But it's still not a great situation. So he did get that third base up. It's a mineral only. It's an interesting spot. It's kind of towards Kanata's base. So it's a little bit of, in other circumstances it might be vulnerable, but Nalra has such control of this game. I don't think that's a too big of a worry right now. So Nalra not opting to bust him. He says, you know what, a wall of minerals that I cannot actually even attack, and a couple of supply depots. It's just, you know, it's even, no matter how much of an advantage you have, it's always unwise. It's usually unwise to attack into a Terran that has shelled up behind a wall. I mean, look at those tanks and such. It's just really easy to, you know, you can't get past those minerals, so they're very, very well defended. He's trying to push out here far enough that he can actually take control of that zone around his third base so that he can take another base before his main runs out and continue into the later game, because that's kind of Kanata's only option right here. The only thing he can do is just stall and max. Stall and max. And it's one of the beautiful things about Terran, or one of the terrible things about Terran if you're a Protoss player, but no matter how much trouble you're in, you can almost always stall and just sit on your bases and siege up and wall up until you max out, and then you can try to push out and kill your opponent in one swoop. But yeah, there's the carriers. Okay. The carriers are coming out. Oh, there's those storms. Nice. Well, a couple storms are nice, a couple not quite as nice, but it might be that he just has too much stuff. The double storm on the tanks in the back is going to soften up too much for the Zealots. The Zealots are getting in there. The carriers coming in and completely ignoring the battle to attack a barracks on the side, and it doesn't even matter. There's the GG coming from Canata, and Nalra takes the game. Nalra takes the game. Very, very well played by Nalra. I mean, that's actually amazing play. Like, think about the moment when Canata had him sealed into his base, right? I think they're still sitting there because this is a best of series, and this was only the I forget which game this was. I think this was game 1. I'm not sure, but it was one of the not the last game, so they're going to be playing more games in this series. But this is the only one that was in MSL100, so that's all we're going to do for now. But let's see if I can find this spot here. So yeah, I mean, I'm trying. There was so much back and forth in this game. I'm just being reminded of it more and more. Nalra skipping the mines, going in here and going for this attack, doing a lot of damage to Canata. Canata with the counter attack after he's able to push out. Oh, I even skipped over it here. Anyway, but Canata going in for a contain, a really, really hard contain, and Nalra just able to kind of stall the containment long enough. Here we go. Here's the containment part. Stall this containment long enough that he was able to send his Reavers over, kill so much of Kanata's economy that it slowed him down, and then eventually push out and somehow break this contain. Even without an economy, I think if Nalra doesn't break or mostly break that contain, I think he still loses the game because those tanks then go in and take out his expansion as well. So just beautifully played by Nalra, holding off this containment, doing the counter damage. Canata completely unprepared for this though, is a little bit of a risk. It's a, you know, if you send all your units to the front line, you have a strong front line, but you have a very weak back line. And on any temple map whether it's Reverse Temple or Lost Temple or Temple of Doom, whatever the case may be, it's just too close spawns that you can't really get away. And this was a crucial moment too. He just stacked up his SCVs. The 3 scarabs killed all of them. If he'd spread them out a little bit more or ran them to his natural where there was a tank or something like that, it might have been a different story. And there we go. Look at this. I mean, look at it. Almost looks like Nara's not gonna break this contain, and then with 1 tank left there and the Templar archives in play, he just is barely able to push back. And of course he brings his Reavers back as well. So just beautifully played by Nara. Nicely done. And anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching. GG, and take care.